Good morning, AirPs. I hope you had a wonderful week. Glad you could be here with us this morning. Sunshine and coffee. Hello to InnerPs as well. Ooh, you're making breakfast? Question mark. Am I making breakfast? Nope, not today. Good morning, Tina. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. I hope you had a wonderful week. Oh, doing a whole bunch of them there. Good morning, Gayla. Good morning, Kitty Q. How are things? Pretty good here. Kevin Brand, all the way from South Carolina. Good morning, Kevin. Everything's been going great here. No complaints. I mean, I could, but I mean, it's trivial life things that always get in the way, right? You make the best of life that you have to live. Been busy, that's for sure. Rykart, good morning. Good morning to you, Rykart. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew. I hope you are doing well, staying safe out there and roads in America. Give it another 2 minutes here. Well, minute and 35 seconds. And we'll get this going. Waiting for everybody to get their notifications and join us. Kind of weird how the notification system, it seems to be hit or miss. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. I didn't get one this morning that I'm live. I don't understand why. It's like, maybe we'll send one out to you. If you don't click on it, maybe they say they figure if the computer system decides you're not interested in it anymore. I don't know. It's weird. Do, 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 do. I'm in Nebraska. I'm headed towards Idaho in 30 minutes to deliver to Boise. Boise is a pretty area. I have property upstate Idaho in the Panhandle in Rathdrum, but I go to Boise as much as I can. I like it there. Kitty Q, you got your coffee? Got mine, says Gayla. All right, let's get this party started. Get myself in my little window here. Hello, Will in this little window. All right. Brief overview. What is Coffee Brew? Of course, every case, as always on this channel, is documented with multiple sources. Viewer discretion is advised. Apparently, even if I'm talking about the weather, it seems to upset people, so you can't please everyone. First case, good old Scott Peterson. His attorneys with the Innocence Projects had a hearing this past week and asked the judge for DNA to be tested that was found in a van that was used in, they know of, at least 4, maybe 6 home invasion and home robberies that took place in and around the week prior, and may have been in the area, according to at least one witness, near the Scott Peterson and Lacey's home the day she disappeared. But they're asking for the DNA that was found in that van to be tested. Now, this van was found later on down the road. It was torched from the inside. It was obviously whoever torched it was covering up whatever was happened inside the van. And they do believe that there was possibly something really seriously. They don't know if it was necessarily a homicide, but that van may have very well been involved in a serious crime, because whoever torched the inside of the van. And no, it was not a 100% loss of the inside. There were some things that were able to be saved where DNA was recovered in the van, and other evidence that wasn't torched. But they're asked, as part of their plea to get Scott a new trial with the Innocence Project, they're asking for that DNA to be tested from the van. They also filed 2 additional motions around the use of evidence and things that were given to the jury and instructions given to the jury. But you can click on the Associated Press link there if you want to read more about it, or not, whichever. Next one, Harmony Montgomery. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, here now, after a couple of weeks after her father was convicted in her murder, the state of New Hampshire has legally pronounced her dead and has removed her from the missing and endangered list. This also, in part, removes her from the Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website, now that she has been legally declared deceased. So the case for the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery is not closed. The disappearance is still open, but at this point, it is now a recovery case as opposed to a missing child that something may have happened to, or someone may have taken. Yeah, it may sound like just a different classification, but by removing her from one database, completely after being declared deceased, it removes an awful lot of resources and investigators who would have been looking for her, and be on the lookout notices that have been sent to law enforcement agencies in and around, I think they go the entire United States, but mainly they focus on a 4 or 5 state area around that area where, she disappeared from or was last seen. So they don't get those bolos anymore. And she's now been officially declared deceased. And of course, in case you don't remember or you didn't know, Adam Montgomery, her father, was convicted on 5 charges, and one of those was a second-degree murder, along with tampering with the corpse, and destruction of evidence, and in there for those 5. So, next one, Steven Tyler from the Aerosmith band. Aerosmith fame, as I have it there, won a legal victory this past week. The judge dismissed part of the legal battle with Julia Misley, saying that she suffered emotional distress from his memoirs. Excuse me. The case isn't over with yet. This is being tried in Los Angeles. And this is just a major part of it. Once they threw out her emotional, stress and damages claim, it doesn't look good for the rest of it. Now, normally I would not use the name of someone who has filed claims or made claims, legal claims of um, sexual abuse, but Julia Misley has come out in the media, and she has gone on everything. It seems like at this point to talk about it because she is after not only justice, as she says, and she wants Steven Tyler to be held accountable, but she also is definitely is looking for money. And that seems to be a major point that she brings up in every single one of her interviews, that she wants him to pay. And when asked about any civil damages, she has wanted to talk about that in great lengths, about how he, destroyed her emotionally because of his memoirs and how he profited from it and she didn't. You can sue someone civilly for, and you don't have to prove beyond a preponderance of the evidence that anything, illegal happened. You just have to prove that it's more than likely to win in a civil case. Criminal case, you have to prove, preponderance of the evidence. Now, I'm not saying that Steven Tyler is a good person. I don't know him personally. I've never met him, and I didn't grow up with him or know his actual, content. Did he commit these crimes? I don't know. I don't know if any of this shit is actually real or if it's just a money grab from somebody who decided that they could get money from him. And some of the evidence that that's been presented so far, where she said that she had her hooks in him, and when she was texting to another friend, doesn't look good. If you're in this case. I'll just leave it at that. Either way, he did win a major part of the actual case right now that is taking part in Los Angeles. They threw out the emotional damages and suffering from because he released his memoir. Can she sue him for being ugly? If that was the case, interpedes, I would be in front of a court of law, constantly. So I'm hoping that that's not an option. All right, next one is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. This week, Gypsy Rose Blanchard finished deleting all of her social media accounts. Now, please understand, while I read this to you, there are, and I checked this morning before I went live, there are a total of 12 different Gypsy Rose Blanchard Facebook accounts, and none of them are her. And there are thousands upon thousands of people in those Facebook groups who believe that this is they are speaking with the actual Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and none of them are her. Her publicist, yeah, she has a publicist, and her attorney both released a statement saying that these accounts are not hers. Even the Gypsy Rose Blanchard that you can find on Facebook and send a friend request to are not her. Why people make these accounts is a whole nother situation. But anyways, going back to what she did, she deleted all of her social media accounts, and then she reenacted her Facebook and Instagram account, but both of them are private. And the only ones that are on them, according to her attorney's and publicist statement, is family and friends, direct friends who were there with her before the trial and during, growing up, and family who has always been there. She's not accepting friends requests, even on those private accounts on Instagram and Facebook. Now, a little bit to more about why people make these fake Facebook accounts. And trust me, I've had people open fake Facebook accounts about me and saying that they're me. Why do they do it? Some of it is to because people get a thrill out of the fact that the other people think that they're interacting with them. They may do it to try to scam money out of people. They might do it just because they're lonely. There's a lot of different reasons, and sometimes people make these accounts just because they want to piss off the person who they're actually making the account about. So you name a celebrity, out there, they probably have a fake Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or X or Facebook account or all of the above. It's so prevalent that even Wired magazine has done an entire series on you know insert name of an actor or somebody famous here, goes undercover on TikTok, Instagram, whatever social media to answer questions, and to correct Quora, and Wikipedia, because people just update all this crap, thinking and these sites just take their word for it. Oh, that's who you are, but it's not them at all. Killing her mother was inexcusable. I think Mike, you need to look at the entire case and see what was really going on there. If somebody had tortured me for all those years, I don't think I would ever get to the point of homicide. But damn it, I'll tell you right now, I could not guarantee that homicide wouldn't have been an option. I mean, she was tortured, medically, physically, emotionally for, years upon years upon years. She believed that she was on death's door. If she really thought maybe, well, maybe I'm not really as sick as, possible, my mother made it out to be, but could you really blame her for reacting the way she did when she finally realized that it was all a lie? I don't know. I don't know, but personally, I don't think homicide was the answer. But I wasn't living in her shoes, so I can't exactly say. I just know it's wrong immorally, from my perspective. All right, next one. So last week I brought you this story about Karen Castlebaum. She's one of the two ladies who drove her dead friend to the bank to clear out his bank account, and they were successful. One lady drove. Karen was in the passenger rear seat behind the driver, so closest to the window in the drive-through, along with the driver. And they went through the drive-through, and they said that their friend was asleep because he was on, a new medication and it made him drowsy. Well, he was dead, very much dead. And she hasn't learned how to shut her mouth. She's going to have a hell of a time trying to, get out of this one, because she did an interview along with statements and phone calls that were recorded from the county jail. She admitted, and this is a quote, "I figured I would go to the bank and then to the hospital." That's what she was taking her friend. She's talking about taking her friend to the bank and to the hospital. "I figured I'd go to the bank, then I'd go to the hospital, but he died before we could get him there. So we took him until we took out $900. She filled out an actual withdrawal slip from the bank, handed him the guy's bank card and his ID, sent it through the drive-through, and the teller there said, "Oh, okay, well, I hope your friend feels better soon," knowing that he's in the car, and gave them $900. They also used his bank card to make two purchases, one at a hardware store and one at a fast food sit down kind of like diner. It's not really 100% fast food, but they do have a drive through, and they have a lot of to go order food. But they used his card. He's dead. But yeah, so she's gonna have a heck of a time trying to figure out how to convince the court. Now, Karen says the reason why she went along with it was because Karen is in a wheelchair, and she can't, and she couldn't move the body by herself. So she enlisted her friend to help her. Again, this is all, that part of it was recorded on an inmate phone call. If you don't know that every call going out from an inmate is recorded. They do not keep recordings if you're speaking to your attorney. They must delete those. That has been a long held, Supreme Court decision. They cannot, keep or use any evidence that they may learn of from an actual conversation between you and your attorney over the phone. But and every attorney's phone number is listed. So their cell phone number, their office numbers, their home phone numbers, they list everything with the jail. So immediately, as soon as that number is dialed, it does not record the call. So how did they know that this was not, an actual attorney she was speaking with? No, it wasn't an attorney. She was calling another relative of hers to try to figure out how to get out of jail. But she had, is going to be, up for, they've already the prosecutor has filed charges, and now she's going to have an arraignment. She's already entered a not guilty plea, so she had that preliminary hearing, but she's still in jail. Last time I checked, she may have bonded out. I am not sure, but at the preliminary hearing, her attorney, court-appointed attorney, did ask for bail, and the judge said that he would address it later on. That he had a full docket and it wasn't initially brought up. So she most likely would have probably gotten out on an ROR, released on her own recognizances. So I'm still watching it to find out what's going to happen, because not only is there just the fraud involved of taking the money out of the man's account once he's dead, but there's the interstate commerce charges that could be filed federally or statewide for the use of the debit card, and the other transactions that they did. So it would be theft. Would it be larceny? I don't know where that would all fall. And good morning, Amelia and Francie. Good morning. Next one, Rex Humerman. So it's been confirmed that his ex-wife Alza Elsrup has been visiting him in jail. Some weeks she has visited him 2 or 3 times. His estranged ex-wife has been visiting him more. She's visited him more than his own attorneys. But when asked by the media, when confronted, leaving or coming from the jail, she has refused to make any statement about why she's there or what she's talking to him about. Is she talking about the case? Is she trying to get him to, give up more bodies? We don't know. That would all be speculation. And while I have that, and I've already made it clear that's 100% speculation, there are a couple of live streams that you can go on right now, and you put in Rex Humerman, her name, and confession in there, and you should be able to watch a couple of live streams from very poor channels that have speculated that she is working for the state to try to get Rex Humerman to confess to additional crimes in other locations in other states. That is what they speculated on their live streams. So before you think that nobody would do that, or she isn't, there are already people out there talking about it. And that is all of the cases that I have been following this week. I know it's not a lot. It's only about half as much as it was last week, but I've been pretty busy, work-wise. Amelia, on April 4, 2023, Australian banned TikTok from all federal government-owned devices over security. Does anybody want to know something very interesting about TikTok? Because it's all over the news. That the U.S. government is going to ban TikTok. And I bet there's something that a lot of you, or maybe only a couple of you, even know. She probably legally divorced him for financial reasons. Mike, I'm almost 100% sure of that, because she would be, financially responsible. So I don't know if that was the only reason. I mean, if there could be other reasons too, on top of it all. I mean, shit, my wife could probably come up with 40 reasons to divorce me. But luckily, knock on wood, she hasn't done that so far. Smoke them if you got them. I didn't know about that TikTok. Why ban them? Francie, because the issue here in America and around the world, apparently in Australia as well, is that they believe that TikTok is controlled, or they're sharing the data of users with the Chinese communist leadership. That the communist, China is actually in control, or of the company and all the people who run it, and that they're getting the data of that, so they can use that information against Americans, Australians, New Zealanders, those in the UK, whatever. That's what they're afraid of, is that ByteDance is actually which is the parent company. ByteDance owns TikTok, but they believe that they are a front for the Chinese government. Now, here's something that that a lot of people do not know about TikTok. TikTok is 100%, besides a couple of Australians, and I think the other guy is from. He only owns like 6%, so he wouldn't even be a majority. But the majority ownership of TikTok, let's just say that, are Americans and 2 Australians. They're not owned by the Chinese government. Could they be sharing the data with the Chinese government? No, they're not sharing it. There's no evidence that they've ever shared anything with the Chinese government about the users who were on the platform or anything. He gave it the CEO of the company, along with the founder, gave a congressional testimony to the entire thing. Who is TikTok? Where are they from? Who do they share their information about? What do they gather about people? All of that is all U.S. Congressional testimony. You can read it for yourself and just go type in TikTok congressional hearing, and you should be able to find a PDF somewhere where you can actually read the entire transcript of the entire thing. If the Chinese government is controlling people on TikTok, so be it. I hope they control everyone on TikTok. I hope they're able to rule the goddamn world with TikTok, if that's their goal. I find TikTok, personally, myself, annoying. I do, but that's just me. Because all it is just people sharing, kind of like Instagram, sharing their meals, making their entire life better. They have filters on that make themselves look more beautiful, that their lives are so much better, and they're doing great, and this is what they ate for lunch, and this is where they're going, and TikTok dance challenges, and lip syncing, and people talking, looking like reactions, 60-second reactions to comedians doing jokes, where they're never giving any money to any of the actual original artists at all. So I have a problem with it. Me. People suspect Temu of the same thing. No, well, Francie, with me and my wife and everybody that I know, pretty much, we and when Temu first came out, we all made some purchases on Temu. I mean, Temu is still trying to get me to join and do a sponsorship for them. And then they've offered me everywhere from $400, of free credits, to be able to buy things on their site. But the problem with Temu is they use Uyghur slave labor. If you don't know who the Uyghur population is, you really need to pick up a history book. Uyghur. I've never downloaded or cared about TikTok. It's annoying. It's very annoying to me. I mean, I get it though. I mean, in this world, okay, let me start over again. In this world, from where I am, in my perspective, and what I do, I am on the outside looking in, because on the inside of this actual sphere in the middle is what I call short attention span theater. People want to learn every nuance of a political issue, and they want to learn it in 60 seconds or less. They want to learn about all 97 confirmed murders of Samuel Little, and you better tell them that and how he did all of those and the nuances of every one of them in 60 seconds or less, because they're only going to watch about 15 seconds of it. And you better figure out how to do that if you want to be on the app. Or you got to wear no clothes, or like a nurse's outfit, and you're playing with a stethoscope, and then 2 seconds flash of you in a bikini. That's what TikTok and Instagram has become. And I hate to sound like a bitter old man, like get off my damn lawn, but that's who I am. All this fuss about TikTok USA along with Australia spies on its own citizens. Five Eyes. Everywhere. It is, Mike. A lot of the stuff that comes out of this, Temu, it is junk. It says, how cheap can we make it and still have an actual product and pay, almost nothing for labor, if we pay for labor at all. And that's where, it's been proven that they now use, Uyghur slaves. These people are slaves. The Uyghur population have been sent to re-education camps, and they're forced to, comply with the curriculum and be retrained to believe in the communist, social, platform, not socialism, social platform of the country, and they can't leave, and they don't get paid because they're slaves, and they take their children from them, and then they send their children off to others, who are going to re-educate them. It's horrific. And there are a lot of people who disappear from these work re-education camps. That's the world that we live in. I mean, did anybody ever wonder how did Dollar General and Dollar Tree and USA Dollar and whatever, how do these dollar stores stay in business? How do they offer everything for a buck? Or, well, not in a lot of cases, it's now under $5 as opposed to $1. But they're still making the same product for the same amount. They got to find ways to cut every possible second out of it. If it means they only have one employee per store, that's what they're going to run with, because they can cut all the employees and then that make that one person run the register and stock the shelves, whatever it might be. You got to cut the bottom line, because you got to prove that you're making a profit for the stockholders. It's not about the American worker anymore, working away trying to make it ends meet by having 2 or 3 jobs. That company doesn't care about you. Hate to break the bad news to you if you think they do. It's like when before I started YouTube, I used to work in a completely different field. Let's just say that I worked for a government contractor, and this company was privately owned. They're not owned by the U.S. government, but they're a contractor. And if somebody left their job, they would immediately post that job open and never fill it. They would just take all the duties of this person and push them off onto other people. And then they would list the jobs, ghost jobs. You can, as in quotes there, that's what they're called, ghost jobs. And they would interview people for them, but they would never fill them. There are 8 million jobs available in the United States. That's 1.4 jobs per person that is unemployed right now. I don't like TikTok because I like 30-minute videos. Yeah. I mean, but to each their own, man. If you want to be on TikTok, be on TikTok. You want to watch TikTok, be on there and watch TikTok. I don't care. watch Instagram. You know, it doesn't matter to me. It if the United States government bans TikTok, I don't see how they're going to be able to do it. I mean, they can remove it from the app store so people can't find it. So all it's going to be is just the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings, and people who want use TikTok, they're just going to share the link to each other in a message to get on it from Canada, or they're going to use a VPN service, NordVPN, or insert name of company before the word VPN, and you can now be on TikTok, and it says that you're in Australia or New Zealand or Austria or the Pacific Rim. Just because they ban the app in America doesn't mean that TikTok's going to go away. It will definitely interfere with their ability to make money, because they with a VPN service, they don't know where you are and how they're going to direct advertisement to you. But the Pepsi Colas and the Coca Colas of the world, they'll still find a way to advertise on it because they're a world brand. So those world brands will become more valuable on the app. So Biden will ban oxygen if he wins again. Really? Okay. Will the CIA? I read a lot. Every place is overworked and short-staffed. Me and my wife went to someplace. We went to the car dealership the other day. Her car has a factory recall for a O2 sensor. It's on the transmission. I mean, it's like a 5 or 10 minute fix. Replace the sensor and the sensor wiring harness or something like that. It's something stupid like that to do with an oxygen or a sensor, some kind of sensor. And we brought the car, and we were supposed to be there at 11 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, we still hadn't gotten the car back, and it wasn't done. They had 3 technicians working 8 bays. And we're like, well, where's the rest of your employees? Oh, this is all we have. We have a whole listings of jobs. We can't find them. I'm like, yeah. You decided for $15 an hour, you can run these 3 guys absolutely nuts. With so much work that they can't sit down and take a break. But because it's cheaper to do it that way than it is to hire 4 more techs for the rest of the bay so they can get cars in and out. My work is scraping the bottom of the barrel for teachers. That's a whole industry interpiece that is sorely, underpaid, underappreciated, and not supported. Teachers and paraeducators, I feel sorry for anybody, I really do, who works in any of those fields, and you included. If you don't make enough, you are working harder and harder under smaller and smaller, ability, support, through the districts. I'm talking to at a parent teacher conference a week ago with my son's student. He's the student advisor at his school. They're basically like a counselor, teacher, first aid. They do everything there. Playground assistants. They do everything. They're like things that used to be like 4 different jobs. Like they compiled them all into one because they figured it was easier to hire somebody with no educational background to do the job. And they get a lot of retirees that do the job. Like they were, the person was, worked 38 years for the United States Post Office, and then retired and then took this job because they don't have a retirement. They didn't have enough for retirement, and they knew it. But they can get this person for $15 an hour. to do a job that, where it used to be, 4 different jobs. It's don't cry for me. You love your job, and I didn't say anybody, about them not loving you not loving your job or other people not loving their jobs. I'm just saying it's not appreciated enough. I mean, when someone is teaching and educating, the next generation, to be able to think critically and to know, how to read and write and do the basics, the was it the 4 R's: reading, writing, and all of it. But they're not paid enough. Why are we not paying teachers to to keep them around? Why are we not making schools safe for them? And there's a whole list of different things. Why are we not supporting them? Again, back to the para educator, first aid worker guy that the student advisor that I was talking to. He was telling me about how much of his actual paycheck he actually spends in buying and making copies and bringing material in just to be able to teach. Because whenever there is a teacher who calls out sick, he's the first person that they bring in because he's eligible to be a substitute teacher. No, he doesn't have the credentials to be a full-time teacher, but in our state he can be. He's had the background check and all that stuff done, but he can be a substitute teacher for the day. Or maybe the teacher gets called away because if something else is happening, he can step in and run the classroom. But he's talking about how much of his money he has to support the classroom with because the district decided to cut back on him. That we're not paying for that stuff anymore, and that sucks. I've never met anybody, Francie, that who is in education, a school teacher that wasn't passionate about their job. There are people who have been in education who get burned out. I've met lawyers and doctors who are very passionate about their work and what they do, who just get burned out. I've met YouTube creators, who are very passionate about what they're doing and are just burned out. It happens in every, form of, employment, or career, whatever you would prefer, add, employment or career, whichever word. But or you can come to California, get $20 minimum wage as a fast food job. Oh, speaking of fast food, so there was an article in our local paper. See, today's Saturday, so it'd have been Wednesday. The Wendy's restaurant, has decided to get rid of their what they call it, dynamic pricing. All right, so I told the story about me and my wife. We went to Wendy's, and the prices actually change based on how busy the restaurant is. If there's a lot of people in the drive-through, the price can go up or down depending upon what people are ordering, on the entire board. Well, that was like a couple weeks ago. So a couple weeks later here now, there was an article in the paper about the Wendy's. I don't know if it's the entire company or if it's just locally, but they're doing away with that dynamic pricing. Apparently, people don't like that the prices can change depending upon the time of the day and how busy the actual restaurant is. I was there ordering, a shake and fries, and I watched the price when I started talking to them to the time that my actual order got placed. I watched it only changed by like 18 cents, but that's still 18 cents difference. Dynamic pricing. I think that's what they called it, Francine. I'm not 100% sure on that though. But you can go ahead and quote me, and then somebody else who watches this later can roast me in the comment section for it. But I think that's what they called it in my local paper. It was dynamic pricing. But at least they're not going to do it. I mean, we eat at Wendy's maybe, well, myself, I probably eat there once every 6 months. just like Arby's. I once every 6 months. It's not some place that I eat. I don't enjoy fast food. It's not good for me, and I know it, so I stay away from it. Admins want everything on computers. Everything in my son's class is electronic. The whiteboards are all electronic whiteboards. What they call them, smart boards. They don't even have chalkboards anymore. There's no chalkboards anywhere. Every student has a tablet. They tell you something funny about the tablets that every one of the kids have in their classroom. They're locked, so they're only able to do educational things because they're all like set up for the district and for the the school district itself. And my son knows how to jailbreak them so that you can actually get on the internet with them. And I've gotten more than one letter sent home from school that said that he jailbroke another tablet for another kid and got them on the internet, and they were watching Peppa Pig or Dream Island cartoons or something. I mean, it's not like they're going to some another site. They're just going to YouTube. Well, they're supposed to be working on matching or figuring out math problems or something. That they're just like, oh, let's see what else we can do. You quit going there when their small burger was $7.52. My own cooking is better for a fraction of the price. I just prefer, when I eat, which is every day. We all have to eat to survive, right? I I, I just don't like fast food. It's never been appealing to me anywhere at any time in my life. I'm sure that they're. I mean, my wife loves the McDonald's French fries. She loves them. I don't. That's just too much salt for me. My daughter loves Quiznos and Subway and Jersey Mike's. She likes sub sandwiches. My son likes Happy Meals because he says they make him happy. So they say there isn't time to teach cursive. All the teachers third grade and up have the cursive version of the alphabet on the top of the chalkboard, though, so my kids can at least see it. They don't teach cursive here in my school at all, Kitty Q. Nowhere. Doesn't matter any grade. Um, they before high school though. So between elementary school and middle school, by the time they graduate or finish out of middle school, they teach them how to write their name, first, middle, and last name in cursive, and that's it. It's all part of the last part of the curriculum for the last English class that they have to take before they finish middle school. And they don't teach them anything else, just how to write their first, middle, and last name. So, because they're aging to the point then where they're going to be getting state identification cards and they're going to get driver's licenses and legal documents that they need to sign later on in life. But they at least teach them how to sign their name first and last name in cursive. Otherwise, cursive isn't taught anywhere. Good morning, Mel. Oh, it's all right, Mel. No reason to be sorry about it. Yeah, but they don't have the letters on the chalkboard. They don't have chalkboards. They have smart whiteboards. And then they don't have the letters up on there anymore. And in my son's classroom right now, it's all Harry Potter themed. I mean, all the decorations are Harry Potter. And so, and then they have them broken up into different groups of the different houses, within Harry Potter, the book. None of your grandchildren were taught cursive in school. Zelda's Ghost, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm busy writing a wee poem. I When I was in high school, obviously I learned cursive, but I also learned shorthand. It was we had to learn how to write shorthand, and then we also had to take typing. Anybody remember typing class? I sucked at typing. And then the computer age came about, and I was like, ding, 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 ding. I've gotten a hell of a lot better at it now, typing. But yeah, there are a lot of classes they don't offer anymore. When I was in high school, we had home economics, home ec classes. They don't have those anymore. Not anywhere. Not in where I live, and not in Seattle, where I have friends who have kids in school, and nor in Spokane, Washington. Those are two of the major, populations within the state. None of their kids know how to, do cursive, and they've never they don't even know what the hell it is. Some of my poetry is YouTube on YouTube at the moment. Is it? Is your channel name Mel Stiller? What's your channel name, Mel? Typing in Greg shorthand class. I scored the best in my school, however, not anymore. It's probably been a while since either one of us have been in school, Gayla. Not that we're dating, putting out our age there. That it's probably been a while since either one of us have been in school. My poetry is currently on English tests and logical testing. But what do you have a YouTube channel, Mel? Tell me the name of your YouTube channel. I'd love to check it out if you have one. I mean, you didn't say you did. You just said some of your poetry is on YouTube. I'm always interested in checking out. I go through most of my subscribers, and I go through every month, and I try to see check out the new subscribers to my channel, and I see if they have YouTube channels. And if they do, I watch their content. Some people have they put out videos 4 or 5 years ago. Not yet, but you're working on it. Okay, Mel. Well, let me know whenever you do, Mel. I would love to check it out. And anybody else who's here, if you have a YouTube channel, let me know. I am a subscriber to Cement Shoes. Is anybody else a subscriber to Cement Shoes? Because you'll be very disappointed if you do. Because Cement Shoes has never put out anything. No, actually, I think there's like one video that he liked or something like that a while ago. But he's right there on my subscription thing, and I'm like, Cement Shoes, and I keep on checking it. Like, come on, buddy, put something out. But if you have a YouTube channel and you're striving to make a go of it, let me know. I'm not kidding. You can write to me. If you don't want to put it here in the comment section because you're not sure if it's if the content is good, you can email me at 411 now. This is all one word. 411 now business. All one word at gmail.com. 411 now business at gmail.com. Don't subscribe to me, Will. Yeah, I emailed my high school the other day, and just to say hello to the office staff, who I don't know any of them. Guess I was having a moment. Now I'm going to look up inner peace because inner peace said not to. So I'm going to do it. I love watching new, especially if you're just starting off. I can be extraordinarily helpful as long as you want the help. I can say Will does check his emails. Oh, yes, I do. I no means yes. There's nothing, Will. Well, I'll add you right next to cement shoes where there is nothing. And then someday it's going to surprise me. There will be something there, and I'm going to be like, the Holy Grail content. There's a lot of people, who have YouTube channels who have never put out anything, or else, like I said, they put out something 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe it was like a home video of the, recital of their niece or nephew or one of their kids, and then they've never released anything since then on YouTube. Maybe they thought that those were private listed videos. I don't know. Defiant Will. But I really do. I mean, people think it's weird. Why would you go through your subscribers? And I mean, I've got 35,000, people who subscribe to me, and I always sort it by new subscribers to the oldest subscribers. And I always check, the new subscribers. Do they have a channel? What kind of content do they put out? If they have a channel at all. Some people are really interested in really obscure things. One lady who I just started watching her channel, who's a new subscriber. I'm not going to drop her name because I have not asked her if it's okay to put her name out there yet. But she has a channel where she does crocheting and needlepoint. And some of her older videos, she did artwork where it's just little tiny drops of paint. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry for not knowing it. A pin paint or something, or pin something. But I've watched 2 or 3 of her videos. I have zero interest in knitting or crocheting or needlepoint. But I just keep on. I check back in and I watch some of it because it's interesting to me how does somebody not only present the information to the viewer, and what are they talking about while they're doing it? Are they talking about the thread count in a yarn, or is it but all of that is not interesting to me. It's that they're sharing that information and they're expressing that information out to people, and it helps. And I write it down, and I'm like, okay, if they use this camera angle, they used this interesting cut, from transition from one shot to another. This one backed up and said, okay, this is how you bring in a new color of yarn. They're showing a trick, or tip or something like that. I write all this stuff down because it's interesting to me on that aspect. So yeah, you might be interesting. What do I watch the most of on YouTube? If you looked at my subscriber list, I watch a lot of heavy like mechanics, like diesel mechanics, truck driver, like semi repair, heavy equipment, backhoes, and stuff like that. I watch a lot of that, mainly on his hat is around here somewhere. Diesel Creek is the name of that channel. And then I watch, Rain Man Ray, who is he owns a shop in Florida where he does auto mechanic repair. I have no interest in either one of these as something that in my life is going to help me at all. I'm not going to need to know how to remove, a Detroit diesel and a 7-speed transmission from a logging truck. But I can learn from watching that, and kind of like a critical way, and then making notes about what they're doing or how they're doing it. Same thing with Rayman Ray. He might be working on a car, and he might, talk about, things that are known to be faulty, with this brand or model, and I can intake that information, and then maybe I know somebody who has that maker model. You watch lawn care guy mowing people's yard for free. My poetry collection is called Fallen Leaves. Ooh, that sounds interesting, Mel. It really does. I'd love to learn how to crochet. Zelda, do you live anywhere near either a Joann's or a craft warehouse? Both Joann's and Craft Warehouse. I don't know about others. There might be others out there as well, but I know those two stores both have a bulletin board where people put up, and like they're offering, classes, or they're in, if you're interested, you can contact them through, through Joann's or from, Craft Warehouse, where you can learn a new skill like crocheting. So maybe Joann's, check it out. Another additional source if you really want to learn how to do something like that. If you, or maybe you just have a flighting interest in it, is check with your community center wherever you live. Most communities have a community center where they have classes, or people can go and if they're interested in it. Crocheting, you can get into it fairly cheap. It's not an expensive, hobby to have, and you could make something that maybe you only make a doily or a hot pad, and that accomplishment is something more than you've ever thought you could do. I mean, it's going to take time to learn how to do it, but yeah, if you have the time and the desire, go for it. Sprinkled donut. Good morning. Super late. Yeah, it happens, Sprinkled Donut. Don't be sorry about it, though. I think YouTube has really helpful channels. There are, you name it. The only thing that in my entire life on on YouTube that I've never been able to find on YouTube is repair videos for the exact make and model of golf cart that I own. Yeah, not joking at all. I have a golf cart that is not that old. It was, well, it's now 9 years old. But I needed to repair one thing on my golf cart because the shop to take it there, I'd have to load it up on the trailer, take it there, have it fixed, pay for it to be fixed, then put it back on the trailer, drive it back. That was just too much of a hassle for something so simple and small. But I can't figure out how to get the damn thing off. And I went all over the rabbit hole of YouTube and Google to try to find, someone who knows how to repair it, and it's not out there. My luck. Really fantastic place to how to. But I found everything else. We found videos on how to replace the catalytic converters on my wife's car. I didn't do it. Paid my see, it would be my niece's fiance. We paid him. Oh, I wish that was helpful. Zelda. To me, I thought about that though. Calling a golf course. Most of the golf courses outsource there. In my area, I have 11 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of my house. I'm in the middle, literally in the middle. And a lot of the golf courses, they outsource it to 3 different companies. They come, they pick up their carts, and they take them away. They fix them, and they bring them back. The same place I would have to take my golf cart to get fixed is the same place that they would have to. I took 4 years of auto mechanics in high school. There you go. I never actually took auto mechanics in high school. I never had anybody show me how to change the oil on my car, how to check the air pressure in my tires, how to fill the windshield wiper fluid. None of it. I never had anybody like that. You have to remember, my dad died when I was 10. And I've had a series of not so lovely individuals who were stepfathers, but none of them ever showed me. I learned how to do auto mechanics, repair, how to change the oil, how to do, fill windshield washer fluid and everything else. Back when I was a teenager, I got hooked up with a group of like-minded, teenagers who didn't know shit about cars. Sorry for my language, but we didn't. And one of their dads was into auto racing at a small short track. And we would hang out with him, and he would show us all how to do everything from that to how to hone an engine, to take the cylinders on an engine, how to the breakdown a block, and everything else. We learned it all from him in the span of like maybe 5 years. So we learned an immense a lot from him. If it wasn't for him, I'm sure that these guys would still be like, oh, I'll just take it to the shop and have them do it. But they wouldn't know how to do any of it because they didn't have fathers either or anybody in their lives that showed them how to do anything. I had an auto repair shop for B Dubs. We used to have one here. Sadly, he died quite a few years back. What was his name? Buckner, Charles Buckner. But his shop was called Buckner's. My wife has a 1965 Volkswagen in our driveway that her dad partially dismantled the motor on, and he's never going to fix it, and it's just going to rot away. But my wife and my mother-in-law and my her dad, they've all been huge Volkswagen nuts their entire lives. In the shelf just outside my studio here, I've got cardboard boxes that are just filled full of OEM parts, original parts from Germany for the 65 Volkswagen. But that's cool that did you get to go there and work on V Dubs? Because they're not that hard of a motor to work on. You don't even need an engine stand to pull the motor out. I think it's like 3 bolts to pull the damn motor out of one of those. You love Volkswagens? I was in the arts and theater in high school, but I do know how to check the oil level on my car. Terrible. I know. Well, so was I, Mel. Art. I always look back on that one teacher. Going back to teachers, but one teacher who, if it wasn't for their influence in my life as a teenager, I don't think I would be here today. Because that one person took just enough interest in that one particular time of my life. It was only a year long, but looked at what I was doing and where I was, and said, they took enough interest in, look, this is not the course you really want to go with your art, but how about you go this way? Let me show you how to do that, how to make it better. But I mean, it was an encouragement that it was just finite, and especially within that 1 year period that I really needed it. And that one teacher, all they needed to do was just show interest and say, look, you're probably never going to be a starving artist living off of what you're doing. I mean, but how about we do it this way, and then showed me a way that was better. I fixed my vacuum once. That's about it. But see, you never know. Again, back to that. How much of a salary does that one teacher should they be paid? If they can touch one student and change one student's life forever, and I'm truthful, I'm not lying at all. I look back on that as a pivotal point in my life and say, if it wasn't for this, I don't know if I would be here today. And I'm being absolutely honest about that, because it was just enough, with the shit that was going on outside of school and in school and everything else. But that one interaction said, I didn't say right then and there to myself, oh my God, I'm going to change my life from here on out. It was just something that happened and it snapped in my head, and I was able to take in the information and say, I'm not going to go this direction anymore. I'm going to try this. I'm going to pay attention to this instead. But how much of a salary does that one teacher just, if they touch one student and they're able to change the course of one student's life? How about if it's a math teacher or a PE teacher or a school counselor? Is there enough money that we can give them to save that one life from going in the wrong direction? How about the one that touches 100 lives and changes 5,000 lives? Where do we draw the line? Well, you only changed one life, so you're not worth as much. Well, you changed 5,000, so we're going to give you X amount. I was very fortunate in high school teacher that I had while I was going through a hard time when I lived in Canada. Oh, Canada. They're everywhere. Underpaid, underappreciated. One of the jobs, just like frontline workers, hospital staff, EMTs, police officers, they're underappreciated and way underpaid. But as soon as the shit hits the fan and something happens, school shooting happens, people start looking at the teachers. Why didn't you do anything? Why didn't this person do something? Why didn't they act this way? Instead of pointing the finger, why don't you say, why didn't we stop it before they got to that point? It's all it takes, Will, to come across one person who is going to positively change your life forever. It's true. All it takes. Because you never know, that person may not be a teacher or anything else. Maybe it's that one person who opens the door for you as you're going into a store or to a business and then just says hello. Maybe that one little thing is enough just to keep someone going until they get to the next thing and the next thing, and then it starts to snowball and they realize that there's something for you. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Two of your best friends are teachers. Oh wait, and inner peace. Not laughing at you, inner peace, but yeah, it's just way fun. It's funny the way that Caleb put that though. Everybody I know who was once in education has gotten out. Everyone. Some of them had 25 plus years of experience, and they just could not put up with the standardized testing anymore. And they said, that's it. And all standardized testing is teaching someone how to regurgitate what you taught them and nothing else. You're not learning really anything. Smile can go a long way. Just be the person and treat others as you wish to be treated. I live by that every day. You're my favorite snookerdoodle. That's funny, your piece. Bringing the cookies back into it. Oh, yeah. I was an ESL teacher for years ago. I worked with adults. Super chat cat. How is Crystal? Missing the podcast. Well, you won't be missing it very long, Super Chat Cat, because today is another new episode. Another new episode today, Super Chat Cat, and we already have the next 4 already uploaded. After that, for the next 4 weeks, are already uploaded and ready. Now, today's is Crystals is not in today's. I'm in the first one, just me. But the next 4 weeks after that, she is in 3 of the 4. But I hope you're having a wonderful day today, Super Chat Cat. That's my job, Mel. An ESL teacher for adults. I got a friend from he's from Honduras, and he speaks English, and he sounds like he is from Mobile, Alabama. I kid you not. He learned English as a second language, but he learned a lot of his actual speech pattern and pronunciation, everything else from watching television. And from he was watching like an ABC affiliate that he used to watch on satellite in Honduras. That all it was local broadcasting from Alabama, Mississippi area. But I'm not joking. He's only been in America for like 7 years, and he has like that southern drawl to everything. But he speaks perfectly good English, and people are always like, "So where are you from, my little, whatever, throw in a different, stereotype name there, honey bun or sugar, where are you from, little sugar, whatever." But yeah, he's always like from Honduras, and they're like, "What? Where's that at?" English is your third language? Is it French? French French sarcasm and then English? Henry Cho is funny. Yeah. You love Southern accents? I actually took English lessons and speech lessons when just after I first started this YouTube, to get rid of a lot of what do you call it, Midwestern charm, I guess, that was in my speech pattern and language. Because when I first started, there was a lot of yeah, you betchas, and and it's right there in your head. It's so hard to get rid of, like to say, oh, don't say that, don't do that. Portuguese, French, English, and Spanish. Oklahoma. My dad was from Oklahoma. I haven't been to Oklahoma in a long time. Been to Nebraska and Texas. Um, but to Oklahoma, probably about 10 years since I've been there. To Oklahoma. My uncle used to live in Key West, near Florida. Then finally decided, after he lost his house for like the 5th or 6th time, he moved to Arkansas. Then he went from Arkansas to Michigan, from Michigan to back to Wisconsin. He was following work. He worked for Caterpillar, building. They built heavy equipment, but he was what the hell they call that? Some kind of quality assurance. He was in the quality assurance side of it. But now he is in. I think he lives in someplace in either Maine or New Hampshire. He's just retired. Mel Stiller, I'm 100% Portuguese. Mm. Colloquialisms. I used to have a horrible stutter. My son and his family has moved from California to Arkansas, and now I can't understand a word they say. Yeah, that happens, Gayla. A lot of my friends are moving. They're hightailing it out of here, and they're moving down to Tennessee. Property cost of living, crime rate, so much better, and they're getting away from. I'm not trying to make fun of this, but they call it the woke culture that is out here on the west coast of the United States. So it came up that employment and housing, everything was cheaper there, and they're like, why spend $800,000 a year on $800,000 for a home, or $1.5 million for a 3-bedroom home. For $1 million, they can move to Tennessee, have land, and build a home, and work for either not the same company or another company that does the same thing. They're like, we're out of here, goodbye. But they're all moving to Tennessee. My friend Daryl just moved from Minnesota down to Tennessee. One of my best friends, Melissa, she just moved down there. They're about 40 miles or so within that area, 40 miles, like 10 miles from the Memphis area. But they like it. The weather's nice. Property's cheaper. I'm like, yeah, what about the humidity? They're like, well, the humidity you get used to, just like anywhere else. You get the dry heat on the West Coast. But you don't have to put up with the crime and everything else. But I find that trying to move away from things like that, it just follows. If it ain't there today, it's going to be there tomorrow. You get enough people moving to Tennessee, the crime rate will go up. Just like Colorado, my sister lives just outside of Boulder, and when they first moved there was nobody around them for 50 miles in every direction. And now they got a new development that's coming in, not even 6 miles from their home, and it's a whole bunch of condominiums and apartments and strip malls. Just life will follow you, and along with all that new people are moving to Colorado, the crime rate goes up. So we have a new nickname for the state of Colorado. We call it Killerado. Eventually all these people moving to Tennessee, the crime rate will go up, and we'll have to call it Tennessee or Killaton or something. Well, the weather isn't that nice. Another tornado just hit my son's house. Oh, I'm sorry. I'd love to know what all I am from genealogy. Afraid the feds or unwanted siblings would possibly show up. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. Yoga Berra. Good old Yogi. Oh, he was a hell of a catcher. Baseball. Yogi Berra played baseball, ladies and gentlemen, for the New York Yankees, and I think he played for the Dodgers as well, New York Dodgers. But I'm not entirely sure. But I know he played for the Yankees. But it's not the heat, it's the humidity. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I need to wrap up this morning's live stream. I hope that you all will be here tomorrow for trivia. Tomorrow's trivia subject is Earl Nelson. Earl Nelson for a trivia night tomorrow night. Again, that's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. In the mountain. So add 3 hours to that for the East Coast of the United States. But tomorrow night, I hope to see you all for trivia. I'm lucky I live on southern Vancouver Island, British Columbia. It's so beautiful there, Mel. It's a Vancouver Island. I absolutely am jealous. I really am jealous. That is such a beautiful place to live. I would love to live anywhere near, Vancouver Island where I could watch the orcas, and just trust me, you live in a great place. I'm on the other side of the state, of Washington, where it's dead. The only thing we have active going on here is the next tumbleweed rolling by. And you hear another, song about tumbleweeds on the radio. But everyone, thank you again. I hope to see you again tomorrow for trivia. And in the meantime, everyone, you have a wonderful day. On the way out, you'll hit the thumbs up. It really does help my channel get discovered by more people. Leave a comment if you're watching this in the after time, after it's been live and rewind, whatever they call it these days. But everyone, have a great day. Earl Nelson. Yes, Earl Nelson, Mel.